like to call a meeting to order, please.
Okay, so virtual meeting statement. The virtual meeting statement pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. The meeting of the Hubbardston Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at www.hubbardstonma.us. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible.
That was some diatribe there. Very good.
I only
the
say
meeting,
it like 5 times a week.
This meeting is being recorded as for everyone's information, and I'd like to introduce the board for guests that might be on today. I'm Rick Green, chairman of the Concom. Rich?
I'm Rich Clapham, member, Conservation.
Tom
Okay.
Larson, member, Conservation.
I'm Kayla Larson, member of Conservation.
Nice, thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to open a public hearing for Mr. Terry Arho for the lot on Williamsville Road, or to continue the hearing.
I'll make a motion that we can open the continuation of the hearing.
Okay. Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Want me to call Tony, by the way, before we get too far along here? You haven't heard from Tony Mallory, have you?
I sent him the link twice today, and I spoke with him on the phone and over email, so he was planning on attending.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so we will open the hearing. The Town of Hubbardston Conservation Commission, in accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Paragraph 40, the Conservation Commission will hold a hearing to review a notice of intent submitted by Terry Aho. The hearing will be continued on Tuesday, April 20th. The project consists of construction of a new single-family home, Williamsville Road, map 4, parcel 114. All right. When we left last time, there was no DEP number, I guess, or case. Hi, Tony.
That's correct. We got a DEP number assigned, and DEP reviewed the file with no comments.
Okay. Also, during the last meeting 2 weeks ago, we had some discussion. Scott LeBlanc's letter was written, or a letter was read out loud and discussed briefly, I guess. And Anna Goal, an 80 in Williamsville Road, also had comments, her and her husband. Is there any other public discussion or a public that wants to speak about this project?
I know we do have an abutter in the audience. So I don't know if anyone wants to speak, they just need to raise their hand in the comment section and I can make them a part of. Have one. Hold on 1 second. So we have Scott LeBlanc. And Scott, you should be all set to speak once you take yourself off of mute. And that should be in your lower left-hand corner in the,
Thank you.
oh, there you go.
My God, the whole time I'm just sitting there tongue-tied. You can wait. So I haven't had a whole much time to delve into this because that's just life. But I have major concerns with where the discharge of the water from the house is going to go. They're so close to my property that there's no possible way that it's not going to come into my property because I'm further downhill than they are. Their septic will also be much higher. Gravity will be pulling it downhill, and guess where it goes? Into my property. Mainly, those are my concerns. I mean, the other one is, and it's just a personal concern with Mr. Aho. Obviously, he has no feelings about neighbors and how close they can be to somebody else's privacy. But that's beyond this. The contractor is going to have to do something, whether it's a bond or something, so I don't get water and they can solve a problem. I don't believe, I think the house is just going to make the problem worse. Believe me, I have a lot of water that flows through my property, literally under the ground. You don't have to go far before you hit water. That's with a shovel. So, and I looked at the new maps and overlays for this whole thing, all that area, the wetland. Maps changed in 2016. The distance from the wetland to where you can start, they've expanded that immensely. Actually, if you look at where my house is, my house shouldn't even be here. But they did things years ago to make this, there was a house here already, so they were grandfathered. So I just want it to be known that if the DEP really does need to look at this further, and I'm hoping that you folks don't, there hasn't been enough information available to me, at least as an abutter, to know where all the drainage is coming from. A, the leach field, and B, water coming off that house. And water coming off that 100-foot entranceway they're going to have. I think that's it. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Scott. Terry, do you want to address any of these questions or concerns?
You ask me?
Terry, he's got his hand up. So you just have to take yourself off mute, Terry.
Terry? What happened?
No.
Here we go. Now we
There
might
you
hear me.
go.
Oh, I was pushing every button. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'd be happy to explain the project a little bit. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. It's the first thing, and Mark Popham couldn't make the meeting. He had some kind of conflict or whatever. He was having something with his two daughters, and I guess I respect the man that wants to spend some time with his family. So anyway, he just said this lot meets all the requirements. The DEP has looked at it, and all the requirements are being met.
Oh, good. You got that in
It-
writing?
And you're speaking about 100-foot through. We don't have 100 feet. We got 11 or 12-foot driveway entering the property, which we have the rights to do. Basically, it's a flat lot. Going to the back of the lot where the lot that is the best land, and we're utilizing that. The lot was perked, and we're well aware of where the water tables are. The septic is above the water table. The foundation drains are going to drain to the back farthest part of the property. The house is going to be elevated some to get the gravity feed out to the septic. As far as the water with the house, that's what foundation drains are for, and it's going to go to the back of the property.
That's not what I saw in the drawings.
Does he?
Well, the drawings are very small. It'd be nice to have a full size that I could sit there and look at, because it's just an arguing.
I have a full set. The town has a full set, and I can understand your concerns about the water. Yeah, there is a water table there, but we're building above it. And as far as the house being too close to the property, it's within the zoning, meets the zoning requirements. And that's where we feel that's the best place to put the house, because that's the furthest from the wetlands. And what else can I say?
Thank God my bedroom's on that side of the house, okay?
Well, I apologize for that, but Ed
I still
Blanchard.
think you're gonna have the house and the septic up at a higher elevation. Water runs downhill. Who's downhill from the lot? Me. Tell me
Right.
I'm not going to have a problem. Ensure me.
I can assure you, you're not going to have a problem that meets Title V. We take and run that septic system in. It has even it has an additional measure. It has a poly barrier around the whole thing.
Yeah. They do that with all of them.
We've built hundreds of these, and I have never had a problem with water.
The system's functional. You know the system's functional. That's your job, to make sure that you have a functional septic system, leach field, drainage, etc. What I don't hear you say is, you're not, Mr. LeBlanc, you're not going to have a water problem in your yard. You're not going to get huge puddles when it rains, because you have to have that rain plus what's coming off the roof of what's hitting the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm very fortunate for yourselves and the contractor and the seller, is that we had very little snow this winter, and we had very almost unmeasurable from the month of March. Well, it gets wet there. My yard gets wet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like I said, I do not want it to become a problem where I have a water issue anywhere that I have to now spend money to fix. I'm retired. I didn't ask for this. I have really, like I said, nothing to say. There's nothing much I can say about where it perked, where the house is going to be. I don't agree with it, but that's okay. It's just, it is what it is. So we're back to the water. I would like to know, I think because of the water issues that can possibly happen, drainage going to the back of that lot, which goes back to, a beginning stream which goes into the, what is it, not Conseco, the whatever, down the road. Plus my neighbor's property next to me, because he has water that goes through his property.
Well, I'm gonna take I'm going to try, if it makes you feel any better, I'm gonna try leave as many, as many trees as I could possibly can against your stone wall there. I'm aware that I'm kind of looking into your backyard, but that's where this lot is best buildable.
I know.
And-
Yeah, there's
and-
nothing I could do. You just took away my privacy, but that's okay.
Oh, I know, well,
I'm just hoping that if I go to sell my house in the near future, I'm not losing money either. He's not going to give me the difference.
well,
He walks away, he smiles.
So I think it's just important to
I'm
go.
I'm trying to be, hear your concerns, but I'm just not gonna be a smart aleck about it. I understand what you're saying, and
Thank you.
I apologize.
No,
I apologize,
thank you
but
for listening.
I feel that this is
Hello,
a viable thing here. And I bought this lot from Ed, and I thought he might have offered it to you to buy. I don't know. I don't know. Is Ed, did you?
Yeah, it's on.
That's on.
He offered it, I
What
think, at
is
one
it?
point in time.
All right,
I wasn't gonna pay what the hell he wanted for that, because it was so wet.
all right. Can we go back to just conservation?
Yeah,
I'd
It
like
all
to
comes
just,
down to the water equals conservation, because the water's going into a feeder brook. A feeder
Okay.
brook that's protected waters for the East Branch of the Swift. Okay,
I just like to make a interjection there. That lot is, quite frankly, it's a beautiful lot in the rear of that lot. It's flat, it's good soils, it's sandy soils. Yeah, there's a water table at 6'5", and that's reflected on the perk testing, and we're well aware of that. And we're building the system above that, and we're putting the house above that, and we're draining it. And yeah, the front of that lot to the right-hand side is a little wet, but we're coming right by your septic system there. And it's obviously, it's allowable because it's been delineated by the experts. And I'm trying to use the best part of that lot. And
Mr.
unfortunately,
Chairman, is it possible to speak?
sure.
My name is Ed Blanchard. I'm the owner of the lot. And I've been listening to Scott, and I know the lot fairly well. And I have to say that probably a lot of the runoff that comes to the lot is from Scott's property, because it's higher than the lot we're speaking toward. But that being said, I think that Terry Aho has done a good job of ensuring that he has flagged the wetlands, that he has done the engineering that is stamped by qualified engineers, such that it is a buildable lot. And I would ask the board to give that consideration.
Thank you, Ed. You know,
It's in your hands, Rich.
pardon me?
It's in your hands, and I'll sign off.
Well, from my perspective, I think all the rules have been followed, and this, outside of the fact that it's not something that the neighbors approve of, is there's nothing that has been done that's illegal or immoral, as far as I can say. And I have no concern. I have no conservation concerns. Is there any other board members that have anything to add to this or discuss or have
Before you vote,
concerns?
just remember, you measure twice, cut once. So if these numbers aren't right, you just have to deal with it, I guess.
So these numbers
I
that were
agree with Rick.
presented were, I just so that everyone knows, they've been reviewed by Mark Popham, who's an engineer and registered sanitarian. They've also been reviewed and approved by Matt Hopkinson, who's the town's engineer, and Mass DEP has also reviewed them as well.
All right, if there's no other more information from the public or from the board, I entertain a motion, we close the hearing.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's see. Do we have orders or conditions to discuss here? Well, I make a motion to, or do I hear a motion to approve the order conditions as shown on Popham's plan and vote to approve the project?
I'll make a motion, we approve. I'm not thrilled with the lot, and I understand Mr. LeBlanc's opposition to it, but it does meet all of the requirements as a buildable lot. So it's pretty hard to say no to. So I make a motion that we approve it as a buildable lot.
Thank you, Tony.
I'll
Second.
second that.
All right, I have a
second.
motion second. All in favor of approving the project as Mr. Aho has done the plans for?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is the continuation of the public hearing. I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing for 69 Garden Road.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hubbardston Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing tonight for Mass General Law 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act for a notice of intent filed by Brobeck Engineering on behalf of Damon Schmidt for the proposed outdoor cannabis growing facility, which will include crushed stone parking area and associated curing trailers and bathrooms located at 69 Garden Road in the town of Hubbardston. That is continued tonight. And so we will, Damon, if you're here, or Mitch, can you discuss what's happened since our last meeting as far as approvals from the DEP, et cetera?
Sure. Yep. So my name is Mitch Maslanka. I'm a wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant Damon Schmidt. So we did get a DEP file number for the project. It's DEP file number 189-0306. There were no comments from DEP other than stating that it was an agricultural project in the buffer zone. So DEP had no further comments on the project. Last hearing, a few weeks back, there was a comment from a resident of Hubbardston who requested that some vernal pool survey be conducted, and the commission agreed that that'd be best to move forward would be to check out those vernal pools before the conclusion of this approval process. So since then, I have visited the site to check out those vernal pools. Would it be possible to share my screen?
Yes.
So
Okay.
just 1 second, I'll make you co-host. All right, it should be all set.
Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So right now, this is the existing conditions of the site. I went out and found where the vernal pools actually were. On the previous plan, I had vernal pools plotted out here and out in the middle of the field. During the initial site plan submittal, the the vernal pool data points must have been taken from Mass GIS, the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program data points, which tend to be inaccurate. So what I found was that to be true, those data points were a bit inaccurate. This vernal pool over here was plotted about here. So it, probably maybe 25, 50 feet over south. And then for this vernal pool over here, that was nearly 100 feet off from the originally plotted spot. So since then, they've been delineated and put on a new plot plan right here to show the new vernal pool boundaries as well as the buffer zones around them. So the vernal pools are within the bordering vegetated wetlands. Here's the line right here. Vernal pool C is right here. That one's near wetland flag C26. And then vernal pool A is near wetland flag C15. During my survey inspection, I first checked out this one over here, vernal pool A, and I found two egg masses for spotted salamanders. They're pretty cool. They're in these blobs with maybe 50 to 200 egg individuals within those masses. So I took pictures of those, which I can pull up on the screen for you just to check out. And Tony came by and field verified those as well. So yeah, this is my report that I wrote. I sent that over to Mallory earlier this afternoon. So, you may not have had time to review it, but it's in your possession now, so you guys can check it out whenever you feel like it. So this is a picture of the vernal pool where I found the egg masses. It's a pretty good vernal pool. There is an inlet stream, just a small intermittent stream coming in. And it pools up in here, and there is, an egg mass right here and an egg mass right in the center of the pool. These were the egg masses. This was one of the smaller masses. That one may have had, 50 or so egg individuals inside that mass. Had a cool looking blue aura. And then this one was down beneath the leaf litter a bit. That was a larger egg mass, could be 200 or so egg individuals for spotted salamanders. So that was a cool find in that vernal pool. Now, as for the other vernal pool C, that one had an outlet stream flowing back out here. And the pool was located in an old gravel path. So it wasn't the best habitat for vernal pool species. The bottom substrate was gravel and only a thin layer of leaf litter, which spotted salamanders and other vernal pool species enjoy having to hide and find food in. So this was a less desirable vernal pool habitat, in my opinion. And also it had very dense patches of algae throughout the vernal pool. Algae is, common in vernal pools, but this was a bit excessive, and it wasn't prime vernal pool habitat. So no egg masses were found in this one. So the final part of my vernal pool survey inspection report was just writing about the potential impacts to the vernal pool species, specifically the spotted salamanders. So based on what the project's proposing, my conclusion was that we're not expecting any adverse impacts to the vernal pool itself or any vernal pool habitat, mostly because the project's proposed in an open field. It's been a field for years. It's been a Christmas tree farm. And, now it's just a grass mowed field, basically, which spotted salamanders do not use for their habitat, really for any life history event. Like breeding, they'll do in the pool. Males will create spermatophores, and females will take those up and use to fertilize their eggs, all within the pool. The eggs will then reside there for 4 to 7 weeks, where they'll eventually hatch and become juvenile, or larvae, I should say. There'll be larvae salamanders within the pool, feeding on small animals within the vernal pool. And once they mature into a juvenile, they'll exit the pool and find suitable habitat elsewhere. That suitable habitat is almost always forested land. They need moisture to be able to survive. They need damp environments. So what they do is they go underneath the leaf litter and underneath a very shallow amount of soil, and burrow in animal holes even, to find food and shelter and stay in these damp, moist environments. They typically don't even exit the soil surface unless it's raining, or damp outside. Maybe a foggy night they'll come out. So they most certainly don't use the fields at all for food forage or for any migration. They would dry up in a heartbeat out in the open sun. So they really never use the field. So that's the biggest reason why it wouldn't adversely impact the vernal pool species. So once I made that conclusion, we went back to the site plan and just plotted those vernal pool, new delineated vernal pools on the plan. That way you guys could see that we'll still be staying outside the 100-foot buffer zone of the vernal pools, which now that 100-foot buffer zone incorporates more suitable habitat for the vernal pools, incorporating more woodland areas and less field. So that was my vernal pool survey. Does anyone have any questions on that?
I do not, Mitch.
Okay, all right. All right, so I should go over some plan revisions that came upon before our last planning board hearing. We submitted new plans. I'll just stop sharing and pull up my other plans here for you. So the plan revisions involved adding a building up outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. So we figured you guys wouldn't really have any say as to what that building is, because it's outside the 100-foot buffer zone. So we figured the plan revisions wouldn't really impact any approval process tonight. The well was shifted outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. So that's a good thing in a way. Taking it away from the wetlands certainly minimizes impact to water withdrawals and such. So that was seen as a positive. And the last, and we added stormwater and erosion control measures. So along the bottom of the fence here, we're going to add some stone trenches that will capture water and sediment that happen, that occur from erosion during spring rain events. So that will prevent any sediment from leaving the fenced in area. So that was seen as a positive revision. And that crushed stone is also going to be placed beside the trailers, between the trailers and the wetlands, to capture the runoff from those roofs. So that was also seen as an improvement to the plan. The final aspect of the plan revisions is the roadway, according to planning board, is going to need to be 18 feet in length or 16 feet. So what we'd ask of you guys is that going to be okay? And as for the crossing area, since we didn't want to expand that crossing, we asked the fire chief and he said it should be okay. That he can pass his trucks down that 12-foot gravel driveway as it is right now. So we're working on getting that in writing. But for now, that it seems to be okay to leave that at 12 feet. So no stream crossing standards will have to be looked at for now, because we're not going to be proposing a larger stream crossing. So just to summarize, an expanded roadway from 12 feet to 16 or 18 feet. The addition of the buildings outside of the 100-foot buffer zone, the removal of the well from the 100-foot buffer zone, the addition of stormwater management in the form of crushed stone trenches along the fence and in the trailers, and the delineation of the vernal pools and the vernal pool inspection. So that is the conclusion of my presentation. So tonight we'd be requesting that an order of conditions be issued for the proposed project. So if you guys have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, I guess I have a question in that I thought you were going to have to, you're going to build a building now, correct?
Sorry, let me jump in. So Tony, that was an idea that we had to satisfy the building inspector, that we were going to put up a 24-foot by 12-foot building way in the back, and that was possibly parking spots. But after our conversation today, it seems like we're going to be good to go with our parking spots, where they originally are near the trailer. So we're not going to put in for right now that 12 by 24-foot building or the parking spots in back. So it looks like our phase A won't have to have that. Our phase B, we would come back with a building, but it would be, a regular sized building for dry cure.
All right, but Mass Electric is going to allow you to bring in power without having a building?
Yeah, so we're in the process of having them bring in, like, I guess, the pole on this side of the street. So my electrician has already filled out the work order, and that's already on the way. To start this though, we are using propane tank and generators.
No, I understand that, but most of the time, someone putting up a new house or something like that, they can't get temporary power unless they have a building permit. And that means they have to put a building on the facility or on the property.
Yeah, somehow my electrician, was able to do it, so.
All right, he's able to get Mass Electric to bring in temporary power.
Yeah, well, it's going to be temporary, but we're going to switch it over eventually to permanent. But yeah, it's
okay.
Coming. Yeah, yeah. Right. So we also got Spectrum. So we got cable coming. I got TV coming. So I can't. It's going to be some long days out there. So we'll be watching some baseball.
All right, I just wanted to clarify that because I've heard some different stories, and I wanted to know where we stood right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do any of the board members have concerns on the new developments or the old developments?
Has DEP looked at the changes?
DEP, in terms of I guess what changes? In terms, I guess the
Well,
only real.
the building going in and where the.
Well, we're
wetlands-
not putting the building in. That was that was a change that we had made for Roland, the building inspector. But after today's conversation with Bill, and, after our conversation with the town attorney, I think it was last week, we don't need the building anymore. So we were taking the building out.
Okay.
Sorry, it's confusing. It's on this, I know it's on this plan. We just haven't had, chance to update it yet, so.
Did DEP review a plan set with the original vernal pools on it or these new updated sites?
DEP reviewed the original vernal pool locations, not these new ones.
All right, I spent about an hour and a half over there. And I agree that these vernal pools are well away from their growing area. I don't think that these spotted salamanders are going to be going into the growing fields or getting plowed under. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I also had contacted the abutter who was concerned about trees, stumps that were buried and things like that. That did not turn out to be true. All of the stumps are over in the far side for future compost. They're 4 to 8 inch stumps. There's a pretty good sized pile of them. So I think all of that looks pretty good. There was complaints from an abutter, and I don't know at what point we want to touch on them, but I can probably add something to those complaints.
Do we have an abutter here that wants to speak tonight on, or a public opinion on this at this point? Tony, you want to interrupt for a minute?
Okay,
No hands up.
I'm all set.
Pardon me, Mallory?
No.
No, there's no one to comment. Continue, Tony, please.
Well, I just wanted to say that, and I did get back to the abutter after I had spent the time with the wetland delineator and tried to clear up all of the questions that he had and the complaints that he had. So I think everything is looking pretty good there, and I think that Damon Schmidt is doing everything he can and has followed up on all of the requests that we have made of him pretty well so far. So from what I've seen for the hour and a half that I spent over there, it looks like they're trying to do their job properly.
Thank you, Tony. Is there any other comments or concerns from the board or from the
Damon,
public?
when's your planning board meeting?
May 6th.
I don't really want to hold you up, but I don't want you to go doing all that work and then screwing you over either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not gonna put in the, the parking area and stuff. We're gonna hold off on that, but, we do want to at least extend the driveway, get our electricity in, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smaller things we'll do, but yeah, we're gonna hold off on the, the 9 parking spots, which are on the right there, which are pretty much the bulk of the crushed stone. So probably hold off on that for a couple weeks.
I'd just like to make a little comment. Mitch, I really liked your presentation. I think you answered all the concerns I had. And a couple more. So I think, I agree with Tony. I think you've done your due diligence, and it looks like the last changes you made only made it better for conservation. So thank you.
If there is no more information pertaining to this hearing, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make a motion, we close the hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We would like to establish order of conditions for this project. What would you like to do, or what should we do? Mitch.
Oh, if you guys are willing to issue an order of conditions tonight, we would be happy with that.
All right, well, I'm just outside of the, go ahead.
As far as the order conditions, I would say that we follow what they put on the plan, or they follow that, where the silt fence, hay bale line is.
Okay, that sounds reasonable to me. Is there anything else we want to add to the order of conditions? Mallory, do you want to talk about what happens with the order of conditions? Does Damon and Mitch know the legal implications?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys know how to handle order conditions, correct? All right, and we just got we just got approval back from the Registry of Deeds actually today, so we're all set for electronic filing. So we'll get all the electronic signatures on there as soon as possible, so you guys can get it recorded.
Excellent.
So one of the things that's been discussed, Mallory, is how do we know when it's been recorded? This is not really pertaining to this specific project, but will we get a receipt or something sent to your office, or
Yep,
what
we
happens?
do. Yep, we get a receipt with the Registry of Deed numbers on it. It should be kept in the NOI files that we have.
Very good, thank you.
So on that note too, you guys are going to be getting a bunch of stuff to sign now that we have the approval from the Registry of Deeds too. So keep an eye out for your DocuSign.
All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the order conditions and vote to approve the project as outlined tonight.
I'll second that.
All right, I made a motion, I guess. Tony made a motion. Someone make a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor of what I just said?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I guess we're all set.
All right,
Then.
thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
thank you so much. Have a good one.
All right, guys.
Valerie, when you gonna need me to sign the paperwork?
I will shoot you an email.
All right, because I can swing in anytime.
All right, sounds good.
Pound time.
You know where to find us now.
We have the next agenda item is a cross-state trail ride facility request. I guess a routine matter where they want to do a horse ride.
Yeah, I think this comes before you every year, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and I make a motion that we allow them to do their trail ride.
All right, I'll second it.
Just one comment before we take a vote. They said that they set up a scholarship fund. How does that go? Who, obviously they're using funds generated by using town land. Who picks out who gets the college scholarship? Do we know that?
I don't know that. I don't know if I've ever seen it advertised. I know they didn't do the ride last year because of COVID concerns.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a concern of ours, but I just
Something
thought
you're,
about that.
I always thought that was a town, someone in town that received that, but I'm not sure of that. That was my belief.
well, they're
Okay,
fine.
I don't want to hold it up on that, but I was just curious about it.
I don't really know the answer.
I don't know.
I can look it up for you.
Please.
This form has a spot for insurance certificate attached. Do we normally require that?
The selectmen got it. Because you have to vote on this as well. I'm not finding it in a quick Google search, Tom, but I can definitely research and get back.
Well, it's probably not, if the selectmen have to vote on it, might be something more that they deal with,
Yeah,
but,
I think
and
we're,
I'm fine with that. Because it really doesn't affect conservation. It only affects, my thought was the money's being generated using conservation land.
And the only scholarship stuff that's on our website for the town is just the country hen.
Country hen.
Yeah,
Okay, like I say, I'm fine if the selectmen know about that and they can ask the appropriate question.
Country Hen and then that
Thanks.
other organization in town,
yeah, because it doesn't even look like, they look like they're from Sterling. So I don't know if it benefits someone from Sterling or whatnot, but I'll get to the bottom of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Tom, for the question. Any other new information or new things that have popped up, Mallory, or?
We have a couple notice of intent, so all those are going to get scanned in and sent over to you for our next meeting. So you guys can do site walks if you want to. One of them's just for the town blanket notice of intent. We have 40 Hillville Road and then a lot on Old Westminster Road. I think you've already walked before, but the notice of intent lapsed. So I was getting those ready for today. They'll be scanned in tomorrow. Other than that, our approval for the Registry of Deeds came in. And the Board of Health did vote to allow hybrid meetings to take place. So it's giving boards the option to meet in person as long as we're masked, 6 feet apart, and we would give the public or parties with a right or requirement to attend the option to Zoom in. So we would still have like our Zoom set up. We would all meet in person. We would I did it with the seniors. They put their computer at the head of the table, and then I guess their admin just manned the comments and stuff like that. So it's an option out on the table. No one's really used it except for them yet so far. So we'd have to meet in the Slade building to accommodate for size. But other than that, nothing new.
All right, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how good it's gonna work. There was definitely some problems with the seniors, a lot of yelling. So I don't know if it's the best option yet, or if we have to figure out how to maybe make it work a little bit better, but
Well, maybe,
it's a start.
you know, I'm in favor of getting together with people and labbing, but the Zoom meetings actually work out pretty well for this application for
I
now.
don't mind it, yeah. I mean, it's
I
not the
agree.
best, but it's nice to just be done when we're done.
Yeah.
Nobody knows if I have pajamas on or not.
That.
Got pajamas on.
So did we ever vote on the,
Yeah, do we have to?
for the use of the conservation land for the horse ride? I'm sorry, I got Rick off track there. Did we have to vote on that? I think we
Thought we
did
voted
a
on it.
motion.
All right,
I'll second the motion.
all in favor of allowing the cross-state horse ride to continue on?
Aye,
Aye.
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 Yeah, it seems
Aye.
like an allowable use based on our conservation restrictions.
Thank you.
And if we haven't had any trouble with them in the past.
Bunch of horse hooligans running around.
I know.
All
And
right,
then just have our normal meeting for the 4th.
all right, very good.
Okay.
So at some
Okay.
point, Tony, maybe we get our kayaks out and go look at that lot on Old Westminster Road.
That one, and I think Donna Wallfield's on Mile Road.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at that. I will take a look at 35 Healdville Road. I know that property well. They're just waiting for an approval from DCR, which is, I talked with Peter this evening. He said it'll be 4 to 6 weeks before DCR comes back with a determination for him.
What is he doing, Tony? I
He
don't.
wants to put on an addition, I think 1.5 rooms on a slab. His property is neighboring Mason Brook, but he's done a solar project there a year and a half ago. He's roughly 300 feet away from Mason Brook, so if they approve it, I think we would probably approve it.
Right. I thought that other project on Hillville Road is Mr. Nate Silky's. That's the one you have the NOI for,
Yes, sir.
Mallory, right?
Yep.
So what we can do, that one is quite a ways down in the back. We can take a look at it, but the DCR is involved, I guess, on that one, and they're gonna have to do some fancy little.
Which one is it? Where on Hillville?
It's almost across from Peter's house.
Oh, okay. I know where you're
It's
talking.
right next to what's her name?
I know where you're talking.
It's a little narrow lot that Magers had.
Yeah.
The Nate bought. So if we want to look at that, I can come down with my mule and we can run down in the woods together.
All right, we'll take a look. Maybe this weekend we can get together and
because it's quite a ways down there into the bush.
Yeah, it is. He had asked me like a year ago to take a look at it, and I said, well, when you clear something out, you know the area that you want to build in or whatever you want to do, then okay. But right now, I don't think is the time because he wasn't really ready to do anything.
Right. And he subsequently he did a perk test and stuff, and it's quite a ways back there. We took the mule down there because they gave Benny a ride down there to observe the perk test anyway.
Okay. I haven't been way down and back because I said, well, until you're ready, I'm not going to trudge down there.
No, you got to take a ride because
it's down there.
It's like 1/10 of a mile back and down past this old Rambler Ambassador and down a hill.
I figured if I went down there, you might have to come down after me. So
right, well, I have to hook a rope up to your big toe and drag you out of there.
That's right. You tractor. Okay. Well, I'll speak with you in the next couple of days, and we'll schedule when we want to look at these.
That sounds good. Does anyone else, speaking along the way, talking about this, Kayla, Rich, Tom, have an interest in participating in these site walks? That's a question. Or
it sounded like one of them might not be much of a walk if it was 300 feet from the wetlands. Is that accurate? They were waiting for DCR's approval on. Do we even get involved in that if it's more than 100 feet?
Which one is that?
I believe that was the first one that we just talked about.
Oh, Westminster?
Who was, I think it was Healdville. Was that 300 feet away? Is that what I heard? Or did I get that confused?
No, Tony was talking about the Peter, whatever his name is, across the street.
On Healdville Road.
On Healdville Road.
Okay.
I think a good one for some of the other members of COMCOM to look at is the one on Old Westminster Road.
That would be a good one.
That's a study in conservation.
That is quite the study.
Is that the massive river up there?
The river.
Yes. Kayla will be primed to look at that, and Tom, that'll be a good one for you to look at, and everybody to look at. That's quite a project.
Right, it's
Well-
like, what do you do? I mean, there is a set of plans that were generated, and you, when you observe the site, you just wonder how that's gonna work, but
Well, they're gonna
Anyway.
spend a lot of money on that site just to make it a saleable site.
Yes.
But we all should take a look at it, and we probably all can learn from it, and
so why don't we just put the word out to everyone, Rich and Tom, or
Yep.
whoever's available for time with your jobs and stuff, but we can tell you when we're gonna go out, and it might be interesting to go look, because that's as challenging a site.
Either a Friday or a Saturday. I have Fridays off, but other than that, I'm working 10-hour shifts. I mean,
Okay.
unless we did it after 4 o'clock.
So
I
a Friday
think-
might be good, you know.
I think a weekend, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, but I think it would be a good one for us all to take a look at, because it's kind of above my pay grade, and I think Kayla as an engineer that's a good one for her to look at, and Tom has done a lot of work on those kind of sites, so
Well, it's challenging a site, as you're gonna see.
yeah, that's why I think all of us should have a look at that one. And-
All right,
and
that's good.
Is
Okay.
that the one I'm thinking of? They've already built one house next to that, or they're in that process?
They're in
Yes,
the
they are.
process, yes.
Yeah, and that river was fed by a blocked culvert for years.
Right.
Okay,
We're not talking about logic here, Tom, but we are
I
saying
know.
there
We're
is,
having
Is that
fun with
owned
that.
by Grimes?
It actually, Rich could probably come during working hours because he'd be checking that culvert out.
We just dealt with the one on Grimes Road. The beavers had it all blocked up. They got 3 beavers out of there on
oh, really?
Grimes. Yeah.
No beavers will block this because there's no water.
And then I think DCR is gonna have a lot to say about that site too. They already have, so.
Right, that, it was interesting, Mallory, the history on this one is, and might be worth looking. I don't know if you could dig that up, but
I'm sure I can.
the disposition from the DCR is such that, you know, they had to put some large culvert in because the river was going through there.
Oh, jeez.
So it'd be interesting to know how the developer was able to use that information,
Mm,
unless they, of course, they didn't see that information, or they don't know about that information.
it's possible.
I didn't study the drawing. They have a pretty good sized culvert underneath the driveway,
Mhm.
but there was some mention of a 6-foot culvert or something at one point, but I don't know what geometry that was.
Wow. I'll have to
The
look it up.
the last I had heard, it was a bottomless culvert and 6 feet rings a
Exactly.
bell. And it's only a 1-foot culvert that feeds it.
An open faced culvert.
Right, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like. It's not 6 foot round, I wouldn't imagine, but
No, it's a box culvert, so it'll be a square.
I see,
And
I
it's
see.
only 3-sided, there's no bottom to it.
I see. And so how tall would such a structure be, Tom, do you think?
I guess it's probably not gonna be 2 feet high.
I see, 2 by 6 feet wide. I see.
We're talking about the plan you sent over April 13th, Mallory, right?
Yeah, it should have come out around then.
Last week. So yeah, it looks like a 5 foot wide by 5.5 feet tall,
Oh, that's
The
all.
one.
but
That's it.
but only the opening is only 3.3 feet. So the total depth is includes the footing below grade.
I see. That's quite an opening.
Yeah.
All right, so somebody obviously read the DCR disposition there.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So why don't we, Tony, we can talk and we'll post a meeting, a site walk schedule, and we'll get out there and have a look.
Exactly.
And I'll bring some donuts and coffee.
Okay.
How many
So-
kayaks will fit in there?
If it rains again, we might need them out there. All right, I have nothing else. Does anyone have any other business they would like to discuss? I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you.